Hello again. Welcome back for another video. I'm going to jump right into this one. Special guest on this episode of Money Paradise, Brent Staple of the Staple Crew. Very good friend of mine. We had a very good conversation. It's a long one, so hey, if you're up for 2 hours of hanging out with us, you're going to enjoy this. So we're just going to jump right into it. This is the full unedited, raw conversation between me and Brent Staple. Enjoy. Yeah, okay, now it's working. All right. So
What is
never
going
mind.
on, my brother? We're already getting into it this morning, aren't we?
We were on a roll,
Uh-huh.
and I think it was around the 40-minute mark where we realized none of this was being saved. So it's all good. It's all good.
All good.
We'll
It's all
circle
good.
back because we've got plenty to talk about.
We
Um,
wrote it all down, the notes of Mad Men.
Yeah, you were writing the notes. Thank
Uh-huh.
thank goodness for you for doing that because yeah, my notebook fell off my
Mhm.
little table here in the middle of the conversation. I was like, well, that's just great. I'll just leave it down there and go off the cuff.
This is what I was thinking about at the end of this. And it
Sure.
was something that you and I talk about a lot, and I wanted
Yeah.
to bring up. Um, you'd mentioned like, kind of neoing your own life.
Yeah.
Um, and it made me think of manifestation. And what I wrote down is manifestation doesn't have to be some magical wizardry to people. What I've boiled it down to, and the real meaning of it for me is it's choosing a direction and not working against yourself. And I
Yes.
I heard this years ago from my dad. He's like, people don't pray right. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, people are inherently acknowledging what's wrong and kind of harping on and explaining what's wrong with them or their loved one.
Yep.
And they're not, you know, coming back to the perfection. They're not acknowledging the perfection and the stabilization and the healing and the balance, um, and harping on that. It's like we're trying to toss up a Hail Mary for a miracle. And
Yeah.
we are miracles.
Yeah.
That's I know that from not just my life, but talking to people like you. We're walking miracles, everything, every moment. And so I guess like getting into like, we going down the rabbit hole of law of attraction and manifestation and all these things. Um, it's it's if you change your software, right? If you change your thinking of how something's going, if you're judging it, you're like, man, this is so bad, and you just continue to run that software of this so bad,
Right.
um, you'll you're getting into that insanity train where you want new results, you're expecting it, but you're running the same software. That same software is what's running this hardware, this
Yeah.
body.
Right.
And it reminded me of that Wolf of Wall Street quote where it's like, or worse yet, I've seen this implode. No, sir, I don't want to implode. And he's like, no, you don't. So if we can rewrite that software of what we are wanting and continuously put that forward, let that flow forward, um, then what can we be capable of? And I think it's a lot,
Everything.
everything.
Yeah. There's no when you start to believe that there are no limits
Hmm.
to what you can do and how you can change the environment around you, that's when things get exciting,
Yeah.
you know? And that's when you start waking up differently. You start acting differently. You start listening differently. You start speaking differently. I mean, your words are your spells, right? And how you interpret things, you know, like you start changing everything about all those aspects. Yeah, you're going to see some change. You're going to see some positive movement in your life, the stuff that you want to move towards, instead
Yeah.
of going back to the, the prayer topic. It's like, yeah, you, a lot of people pray because they've run out of options,
Mm-hmm.
because they've supposedly tried everything and nothing's worked. And the results aren't there, but I'm trying my hardest. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, Lord. And I just need you to make it happen for me. And so I'm throwing this Hail Mary because I'm putting it up on you to do it now, because I supposedly have done everything I could. And that's where people are wrong. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
if you change the way you approach that prayer, and I don't consider myself a very good prayer person myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I do remember I used to pray in the way that you were talking about, where it's like you're throwing up a Hail Mary, you're like, I don't know what else to do.
Me
I'm
too.
doing A, B, and C, nothing's changing for me. I'm still here, miserable, pissed off all the time. The people in my life suck. My health sucks. My money situation is terrible. Like, what are you gonna do for me now? Because I've done what I could do.
Yeah.
And now when I pray now, and I admit I don't pray often, but I do have these small prayers for myself and for the people around me. It's more focused on gratitude. First of all, it's more recognizing, like, thank you for what I have now. Thank you for the opportunity to build on that now. Thank you
Mm-hmm.
for the people in my life that are helping me build on these things now. It's
Yeah.
like the universe is providing me with things, and I'm taking the opportunity to express gratitude, right?
Yeah.
And I'm done putting myself in a position of taking from the universe, because it's like, if the universe is already giving me everything I need, then I don't need to demand anything anymore from anyone.
Yeah.
It's just a recognition of, like, the universe is already providing me with everything I need. All the people around me that are supporting me, are pushing me, are helping me. They're happy for me. They care about me. It's like, that's never happened in my life until now. When I started appreciating things, when I started having gratitude for things, I started getting those things. It was only in appreciating and expressing the gratitude for those people and those things that I had. That's when I started to see it. I was like, look at all the good things that you've already got going on for you, brother.
Come
Why are
on,
you
brother.
demanding? Why are you demanding things?
Yeah.
Why are you throwing up a Hail Mary when it's like, bro, you're Joe Montana in the Super Bowl. You are gonna methodically go down the field and pick that defense apart until ultimately you score the game-winning touchdown. It is a certainty, but
Mm-hmm.
you have to do it. It's not up to the gods. Your fate is not in the gods' hands. It's in your hands. The
Take
ball
some
is in your hands, man.
responsibility,
Yeah, you
some
take that responsibility.
self-responsibility.
That's right. And
I, you know,
yeah, I like that.
I had to tell Cody once because I I saw one of his video. I love your channel, by the way. I've seen every
Thank you.
video and
Yes.
commented on it. Um, I saw you, really give us the truth, about financial stuff and life stuff, and I talked the next time I talked to you, you were a little shaky about talking about something,
Yeah.
and I felt called. It was like I have to remind him how confident he should be and how wealthy he is. And that in my brain just popped in. It was like, man, an amazing spiritual wife, like
Yeah.
amazing, inspiring daughter. And the conversation that we had this morning just about your daughter
Yeah.
was like, just put a smile on my face.
Yeah.
Um, how valuable that all is. Um, for somebody that admittedly that's all I've ever wanted. That's all I've ever really wanted for myself. And I can take responsibility now in saying that I haven't lived in a way that's manifested that. It's not good or bad. Like, I'm a very
Right.
happy person. I still think all that's coming.
Yeah.
Um, but it's like taking the responsibility of knowing, like, okay, those are my actions. Those are the people I chose to date. Not the right people for me. You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
that's on me. You know,
Right.
and out of thousands of lessons that you learn in any relationship, um, I learned that. I learned to take responsibility for myself, and I think that's what a real person does, a real man does.
Yeah.
Um, and I love that stuff. You and
Yeah.
I, you and I talk about all that stuff together, and so we felt called, everybody, to come together and do some of these videos for all of you. Because Cody and I talk about the spectrum, including the spectrum itself of
Yes. Yes.
of everything in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I appreciate you, brother, for that. Yeah, like the praise you heap on me and what I'm doing with my channel, like I can't thank you enough for that, because that's a big boost
yeah.
to the confidence I require to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And um it's not natural in me to to be a personality, I guess, in front of the camera. You know what I mean? Like I recognize my strengths and my weaknesses when it comes to the content I put out, but I know for sure one of my strengths is telling my story.
Yeah.
That's the main thing, that no matter what I still need to work on with how I present myself, or the video editing, or the content itself, whatever that is, my strength is in telling my story, because no one else can tell my story except me. And so having the confidence to tell that story with, vulnerability and openness, and not holding back in how the emotions of those stories and situations are playing out, like in the video I did on facing fear.
Mm-hmm.
um like I think towards the end of that video, like, you could probably tell that I was definitely getting choked up about my situation. And
Yeah.
you could see the frustration, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because I had definitely put I mean, I take responsibility for being in the situation to begin with. I don't blame myself. I don't blame anyone else for it. It's just how things played out, and
Yeah.
the resolution of it all is like, well, we're doing something about it. We're not bitching and moaning about it and blaming the world for our problems. We're doing something about it, because we can affect the change. We can, like we were talking about in the unrecorded version of this episode,
Mm-hmm.
we were talking about breaking the programming. If this is all a simulation and we're all in a program, well, there are ways to break the program. There are ways to hack the system, and you can be whatever you want, whoever you want. That's the beauty of it. You can be Neo, you can be the one, and
Yeah.
that's what gives me the confidence to keep going forward with the content I'm putting out, with what my financial plan is going to be, is currently, which I mean, we're going to be talking about crypto in this episode for sure. That's
Nice.
just, yeah,
Good.
just it goes without saying, because yeah, I want my audience to be able to hear, your take on some of these things that I'll ask you. But
I do too.
um, yeah, having that confidence to do something about the situation and say, I don't know what the result is going to be. I know that all I can do is affect the process. And if I can enjoy the process, fall in love with it even,
Mm-hmm.
then it's not going to be miserable. The job hunt isn't going to be a pain in the ass. The interviews aren't going to be a nervous racking situation. Um, Meeting new people and learning new systems is not going to be as difficult as it used to be, because now I'm just I'm just in the present. I'm in the moment. And I know my why. I know why I'm here. I know why I need to do what I need to do to create that financial stability for myself and my family, and then continue to have that gratitude and appreciation that the universe is providing me to
Yeah.
continue to grow and develop myself so that you can see it. When you see my videos, you're going to see that growth. You're going to see that expansion, that conscious expansion. And it may be like somewhat of like a vlog kind of situation where you kind of just see the progression of a person over time, as they continue to do content. Um, whatever capacity these videos turn out to be in the future, I don't know. But all I know is I will maintain my authenticity, and that vulnerability really does help me, in a lot of ways. The videos I make, and I think we've spoken on this previously, is I make these videos more so for myself than anyone else, because I
Yeah.
need to be able to put the words out into the universe of what I'm working on, what I'm struggling with, um, in a way so that I can better formulate my response and my plan going forward. And the byproduct is that you, the viewer, can see someone dealing with it, struggling with it, but not giving up, but not resigning themselves to their current situation. And so
Yeah.
you can see someone doing it, getting it done. And regardless of the result, you see someone continue to go forward. That's what I want people more than anything to take away from my videos. Yeah.
We already are.
Yeah.
Two things on that. Um, this whole conversation started this morning with us, and you asked me a question, or kind of just put it out there. It's like you're very curious about how do people actually change,
Yes.
and what what's so cool is like you coming out of the gate. Like I remember I was down here on my patio, uh,
Hmm.
and I remember the conversation that you and I had before you had even filmed your first video yet. And you're talking
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
making this channel, and there was a fearlessness in you. There was an attack. There was a I want to do this. I want to put this out. I want to make this not just for yourself, which is
Yeah.
such a cool way to look at it, by the way,
Yeah.
but how much you want for others and how much you want to expand. And I know, like myself, if I had unbelievable riches and unbelievable power, and you and I would be giving it away, to the people around us. And we get to do that now with our thoughts and our feelings and our emotions, and the things that make us happy and drive us, and help us all kind of rewrite our software however it is each individual listening to this wants to do that. It's not for Cody and I to tell you how to do it. It's like you got to want to do it, and you got to want to change, and you got to, have a little direction of where you want to go. And then the fearlessness. And I just had the most amazing chat with my stepdad about all this. He just started acting again in a
Right.
local theater. And he said this to me, he's like, I want to be fearless. And I was like, I got to go and do a reading with his last cast.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, if anybody in here, you were the most prepared. You had clearly read your part and other people's parts and thought it all out. Like, and so when you're in the room, it's very natural already. Like he did the preparation, he did the mental work to put himself in a position where he can be confident and have fun with it. And that's, when you do the work, it's easy to be fearless. It's easy to be confident. Like studying for a test, how many tests have all of us not studied for, and we go in there just sweating bullets,
Yeah.
thinking about the bad outcome of
Right.
what can happen. I want to see more for all of us in the other direction.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things where the starting line is always there for those who want to begin. It's always there. All you got to do is step up.
Mm-hmm.
When that starting gun goes off,
In the moment.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you can take off whenever you want. The race can start anytime. No, there's no set date. You don't have to
Whatever you
wait
want to
for.
do, whatever you want to be,
Yeah, yeah,
you can do it.
yeah. I mean,
and
I
and
said,
and, and you're gonna become so magnetic in it that you're gonna attract people just like you, who are just
yeah,
as passionate about it. And you're gonna want to work together so bad that, you know my day off is this is
yeah,
what's important to me,
yeah,
is doing more of it. You
yeah,
get excited about it.
yeah.
uh,
I appreciate you for taking the time to speak with me today. And
oh, of course.
I
Any
know,
day for you, brother. Any day
yeah,
for you.
and I know that people will benefit from this in
Yeah.
a lot of ways, because again, it's about it's about showing people that it can be done.
Hmm.
you know it's not about like, I'm not going to show you the step by step, because your journey is your own. I can't walk the path for you, because I'm busy walking my own path.
Hmm.
We're on our own reality tunnels, and
Yeah.
and a lot of people want to see the to-do list, the step by step. What do I need to do to get from here to where I want to be? And you need to show me the
Hmm.
entire journey. It's like, no, no one can. You have to put in the work. And along the ways, you're going to encounter situations that you're not going to find in the book, man. You're going to have to tackle those things on your own. You're going to come across a struggle, a situation, where maybe you're not ready to face. Maybe you're not 100% confident, but you've got the tools. If you develop yourself, you're going to have the tools, to face those things down. And that's something I preach to anyone that I speak with. It's like it's all about staring down into the abyss, staring down the barrel of the gun,
Hmm.
with that fearlessness. When you
Yep.
can stare into the darkness and you can say, you know what, I'm not afraid of the dark anymore. I can live in there. I can be
Yeah.
surrounded. I can be shrouded by it, and I'm okay, because I know that nothing's going to get into me. Nothing's going to break through unless I want it to.
Yeah. We were
That's
talking we were talking earlier about, that the whole spectrum of life, and how people see really, this really, really good, this really, really high vibration, this very, very bad, this very, very bad vibration.
Yeah.
And like one of the highest callings in any of it is to not have judgment,
Yeah.
on the situation. But yeah, it's like you're saying, like, you kind of, even when you're done being afraid of any of it, it's like I can choose the way I want to be, and I can have the courage and the soul to let another soul do its own thing, its own way, and expand. And maybe they end up doing it my way, maybe they don't.
Yeah.
I don't think I came back to this world to judge anybody on any of it.
Yeah.
I just keep finding that that's such a waste of time, when I could be building myself and others up, and that person that I know, that deep software, that deep hardware programming that's inside of me, unconditionally loves people. And like, so much of our programming in our life is to smash that and divide us. And I'm it's getting to the point now where it's like I'm almost disgusted by it, like the creation of division between people.
Yeah.
I just find it so useless.
Yeah.
um, and it's, I guess it's not for me to judge even that, but more to embrace my gifts of being like, what I know I am now, a community builder. I don't think I've ever told you this, Cody, but I grew up wanting to be a comedian.
Oh, really? No,
And
no, you didn't
the
tell me that.
very first time I ever performed stand up was I was working in a nursing home, like an assisted living home.
Okay.
And which if anybody's looking for a job and you want to become a 10 out of 10 empath, I highly recommend that.
Mm.
Uh, but so we did this talent show, and so I wrote all these comedy skits, and I bombed. I absolutely bombed. But it was because in the moment I was unwilling to make fun of them in their situation, because
Yeah. Yeah.
I immediately, on the stage, I identified with I'm going to be in that situation. I'm going to be in that same, hopefully in that very same situation. And I love these people unconditionally and worked my butt off so that their life could be better.
Yeah.
And I'm going to I'm going to stand up here and make jokes about it. I'm going to stand up here, and it just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
Not feel right in my core. And so I told other jokes about other stuff, that we can all relate to.
Right.
It's the ones that ended up coming out. And that's who I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's who I'm supposed to be in our friendship. It's who I'm supposed to be on the channel that we have, like my dad and I. It's just like people being able to come to me and knowing that it's like, wow, I can actually talk to Brent about whatever it is. And
Yes.
they aren't all conversations like this. There's some very tough ones going on. People are going through stuff. It's life's a roller coaster sometimes. And I just try to listen and help them expand. And we're in this together. Let's keep moving forward.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, 100% agree on that. That actually, I have a question regarding that.
Sure.
Do you find that people that come across that you come across with, do you find that they naturally just open up to you about what's going on with them, and like even if it's like a shitty situation, they're just freely just flowing out this problem to you, and you're just like, wow, we just met.
Yeah.
like, a lot of times you're like, man, I feel like the shields are down. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, I
Mhm.
didn't expect that, but you find that like a lot of people seem to be comfortable with you to let the shields down and just flow flow with you about what's going on in their lives. Do you find that
I make
pretty
it,
often?
yes, I make it pretty easy
Yeah,
to do that, just
yeah,
naturally, just
yeah,
naturally, because I want to have conversations like the ones that you and I have with everybody. Like that if I could just do that all day long, that's what I would do, is have
yeah,
deep conversations with everybody. And
yeah,
so I love it. And so I think, yeah, that's very relatable to a lot of people. But something you said to me earlier is some people just aren't that way.
yeah,
They don't, they lock it all in. Um or they, bust your stones about being that way. The reversal of like, wow, you're so loving and open and caring and all this stuff. Like it can be tough. It can be tough with some people, and there are people out there that do not like me.
yeah.
It's just how it is. Um,
That's
but
interesting.
but to
Yeah,
answer your question, like, yeah, yeah, and I think the friendships like ours that have come from that, where we know that we can talk about anything and we're brothers right away.
yeah,
Um, I have a good amount of those. I have a really good amount of those kinds of friends in my life,
that's
and
good.
and I just want to build those people up, um, more than they even know. Um, it's a I get emotional talking about that one, because I want
Yeah,
so much for all of you. I would ask you the same question, Cody.
yeah.
Um,
Um, it is. It's one of those things where, like, I'm like, if you ask my wife just this, she'll probably correct me, but I think of myself as a very reserved, conversational kind of person when I'm, out in public. I'm not usually not the one to start the conversation. Usually someone asks me a question and then I kind of start going into things. Um, but when when someone is freely offering themselves to me in conversation,
mhm.
I'm naturally curious and naturally wanting to help and wanting to provide feedback for them, if that's what they want. And so
Yeah,
a lot of times I don't get that experience of someone just opening themselves up to me, but when it happens, it's like the ledger's wide open of their lives, and they're letting me take a look at their books, basically, with no judgment. You know what I mean? They're like, no, I can trust him.
yeah,
And it's 100% um true that I've seen a lot of people's lives, strangers, and they've revealed a lot about their lives to me,
mhm.
and no judgment, no 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 initial reaction of like, wow, your life is screwed up, man. Like, wow, I don't envy you.
Right,
It's like it's more like, I'm grateful that you came into my life today to talk to me, and if it
yeah,
happens to be about a problem that you're working on or struggling with, like, I think it's cool to be able to talk to someone in that vulnerable kind of situation and
yeah,
give them some insight, give them some perspective, like, I'm not I'm not the wisest person I know, but I know that I can definitely give someone the benefit of my eye and my ear, you know, and
mhm.
it does tend to blossom into friendship, you know, that's for sure.
The openness and how quickly I trusted you and the suggestions that you had. And you and I are kind of, our relationship's kind of a co-creator. Let's
Yeah,
expand. What's the next cool thought? Oh man, I got something on that. What's the next cool thought?
that's right.
And so it flows with us. But I was in a time where it wasn't flowing in my life.
Hmm.
And it was very hard to even get up in the morning. And I wasn't aligning with my gifts and my purposes and the things that we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Um, and opening up to you and what you suggested to me changed that in a big way. It really did. Like not blowing sunshine up your skirt, bro. Like it really like talking to you and Jess, and watching Jess's show and how she is on there. Um, it was like, man, these are people I want to confide in, and these are people that I want to talk about the deepest end of all these spectrums and things in life with. And just to have that again, because I used to have more of that in my life. It was like now, like to be able to talk to you about anything and get excited about it and expand upon it, it's like, wow, like I was missing that. And you both suggested to me to, like, I'm a very spiritual person,
Mhm.
um to go seek out more of those people in your community
Yes.
where you live. And I thought that was a great suggestion. And that's probably the next step to continuing to grow, what you and I are trying to build together in our friendship, and what Jess is trying to build in her community and group, and what you're building with this community and this channel. And in all those relationships and in our communities, people are going to get to see us expand and grow. Like, I know it,
Yeah.
because if I can open up to you and in 3 conversations, like, I turn back on a dime, like, to who I really want to be. um I know you can change and do whatever you want to do in your life. And that's why I talk to you about confidence and fearlessness and how wealthy you are. It's like, I see it in you, brother. I see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I,
you've helped me so much. So thank you.
my pleasure, man. Yeah, no, it's one of those things where like okay, so perfect example. My older brother, he's a professional drummer. He's toured the world. He's
Mhm.
touring the world now. And I'm very proud of him and everything he's accomplished in his life. And he comes from a similar place uh, of where I came from. I mean, we didn't grow up together, but we grew up in the same neighborhoods. Um, Dealt with a lot of the same struggles, in our early teens or 20s, and 30s. And so like when I see him doing his thing, he's he's a constant source of inspiration. And when even more importantly, when he expresses his struggles to me, um like that warms my heart, because
Yeah.
he's being vulnerable enough to tell me, like what he's working on, what he's struggling with, and how he wants to go about it, and I feel overwhelmed that he would trust me with the things that he's working on, because knowing who he is and where he came from, he played a lot of the things he did close to the chest. He couldn't trust anybody with what he was doing, because there were so many doubters out there, so many people that wanted to just keep him exactly where he was, and
Yeah.
I'm not that way. I've never been that way with him. I don't care what his idea is. I'm all about it. You know, if
Yes.
tomorrow he says I'm going to audition to be the drummer for Lady Gaga, I'm like, dude, get your ass down there and knock that shit out of the park because I know you can.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a
Yes.
damn who you're playing for. A gig is a gig, brother, and that's what he's about.
Yeah.
He's a professional.
Yep.
And so I I, I want to be that person that cheers you on, cheers him on, cheers anyone on that wants to go for their dream, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And as time goes on, I want to put myself in a better position to give that extra boost to those individuals in any capacity I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've talked about that too. Like a lot of my long-term goals involve investing in people because over time I've come to realize like if we're currently focusing our financial security and um, abundance on crypto,
Mm-hmm.
then the eventuality of all that is when our kids come of age. I think maybe the hope is that maybe we get to a place where there is no money. It's just energy. It's just people. People are the currency of the world, and what they do, what they provide, that's the currency. That's what they generate,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And so investing in people, I feel is a natural kind of progression towards that goal of
Yeah.
like, I'm investing in you, the person, because I know the energy you have. I know what you can produce individually. And the fact that maybe you're not for example, like a person who needs a small amount of money to get their business off the ground, to me means nothing. It means like the difference between starting your business and getting your dream off the ground or just it being an idea that you're just like, I wish if only someone had believed in me and given me a shot, but no one ever did. You know, it's like
Yeah.
that's something I want to be involved in. Like, I want to give that person their shot. I don't care if it succeeds or fails, like, we'll see how it goes, but the opportunity is there. And I'm all about opportunity.
Yeah.
You know? Like
Yeah. You
someone,
you like you said, like you would have been a really good lawyer because you
mm,
like the speech and debate and
yeah, yeah,
talking
yeah.
things
The
out.
back and forth. Yeah, yeah.
I always thought that I would have been a really, really good counselor.
Ah,
Because there's like what you're saying. It's like it's not excited, but it's like when somebody comes to me with like a problem, especially like an emotional one,
yes.
I am that empath and I can relate, but it's kind of like the prayer thing. It's like what not only when you're ready, what how do you want to look at this? What solutions do you want to create?
Yeah.
And you're not alone in thinking about and working on that. Like I'm with you now. Like we're together in this. And it sounds almost selfish to be kind of excited about that. Like I wish there was no problems, right?
Right,
But
right.
we all make problems.
Yeah.
We're problem makers.
Yes.
So it's like how to like I would love to encourage people to do exactly what you're talking about. Whereas it's like I have this dream or something I want to do. I need somebody to help fuel it. I need somebody to help me believe in me. Maybe even find some solutions of how to get it done.
Yes.
And same, brother. Same. I'm
Yeah.
so thankful that you're that way. And you've spoken to me more than anybody on on my channel, besides maybe my dad and I, of just like when those opportunities present themselves, I want to put myself in a position to do exactly what you just said, which
Yeah.
is Cody wants to help others.
Yes.
And that's builds all the trust that I need for anybody. And I want to encourage you and push you to do that. And I think that dream and that goal of yours to do that
Mm-hmm.
is going to make you an even more powerful, capable creator in the now.
Yeah.
Just to remember, it's like that's what I am, and it's like be courageous, be fearless in what you do now, um,
Yes.
so that you get there.
Yes. Yeah. I
I know,
want.
I know you will. I know you will.
Me too.
You are because you already are.
Yeah.
You're already doing it for we all appreciate it. Your brother and me and everybody around you. We appreciate it, bro.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I just want people to see that it can be done. You know, what people doubt about themselves, it's wrong. You can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
You know, if you're in a dead end job and you want to pursue something different, it's the fear of the unknown that's holding you back. But what if that fear was gone,
Mm-hmm.
right? If that was the only thing that was preventing you from starting a business tomorrow or quitting your job to pursue, you know, your passion in life, and you found a way to make money at it, or you found a way to pay the bills with it, whatever. If you can take on those things, those obstacles, and you could treat those obstacles as the opportunity to change your life,
Yeah.
to change your environment, then why not go for it?
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people just don't see it. They just don't see anyone else doing it. You know, they're very pessimistic about the world and pessimistic about the possibilities. And I want to show them that there is a world in which the possibilities are endless on what you can do with your life,
Yeah.
you know? And we're on that path, you know. My channel, Staple Crew,
Mm-hmm.
so many others are already showing the world that like we're building something already, you know? It's already there. It already exists. It's not a matter of it's not an idea anymore. It's not just like a cocktail party. Like, wouldn't it be cool if we all just got together and build a community that like strengthened people and built them up and funded them, you know, like financially, energetically. It's
Mm-hmm.
already there. It's already happening.
Already
People,
happening.
and so it's only a matter of getting that out there so that people can see that it is being done. It can be done.
Yes. And
Inspired.
don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
I can't tell you all, like I didn't start out of the gate hot like Cody did. Like I in the beginning, I was just mortified by how I would speak and that feeling of sitting there and feeling like I needed to nail this next take and all the crap, just like all this
Yeah.
weight that I put on myself. And only to find out that it was a community full of people like Cody who are watching me, who just want to love and support me, and want to share, as I say endlessly on the channel, it's like share the gold nuggets with each other. I'm just there, whatever I've heard, whatever makes sense in that moment, like we try to share it.
Yes.
And my dad is so good in it because he's looked at this big economic picture for most of his life, and like to look at the big picture and break it down, to a level where anybody can kind of eat it, consume it, is so huge, because then this big crazy economical thing. It's like we're not afraid of it anymore.
Yeah.
Because before we're looking at this giant thing, we're like, how are we ever going to make our way in this crazy system? And but it when you get like an Allan breakdown of the big picture, it's like, hey man, even if you fail, get up.
Yeah.
It's time to reset. It's time to restart. You have a shot at this
Yeah.
just as much as anybody else. And it's one of my favorite things to say now is don't be afraid to fail. Winners fail and get up. Fail and get up. That's what winners do.
Yeah.
And it's like one step at a time. We can't fix the whole world right now the way
Yeah.
we'd want to.
Yeah.
Uh, something that I wrote down for us, because I wanted to ask you about crypto.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do it.
Let's
Let me get
say,
let me get started in here. All right.
right. Um, to you, are you on the side of, is this whole thing been a big plan, a big slow rollout, a slow systematic destruction of the old system? Or do you feel like it was kind of the universe just put it out there and it was kind of unplanned and everybody's kind of scrambling and working with it, or both?
Hmm. Interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my take on it all is the idea of what cryptocurrency is, blockchain technology, tokenization, all that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel I feel like it came from another world, like another dimension or something. Like it's not from here. Like it's not from this reality. Like somebody teleported here, dropped it off in someone's PC one day,
Mm-hmm.
and then just like let it flow into our existence. And somebody thought, this is my idea. I'm running with it. And then they did. Like they reverse engineered the technology to a point where it's like, this can be tangible for our reality and the people in the world, and we can make it work. We can turn this reality into something different and better because now we have the means to do so. Because
Yep.
I don't know how else it could have appeared. Like I don't know who could have conceptualized all of this. Just one random day, you know? Like was it some like Russian rocket scientist in a bar just drinking down some Stolies, all night
Yeah.
long, and then all of a sudden he had a realization and just started writing it down on a bar napkin? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
two
it
two nerds hanging out in a sweat lodge, and they got a napkin, and a
yeah,
pen.
yeah. And they're just like, oh, and what about if we did this with burning the tokens and blah blah blah, or what if we did this with tokenizing assets? Whoa, check that out, and then it just branched off, you know. Um,
I
I
love
I
that take, by the way. I love that, your take on it.
yeah, because otherwise it doesn't make sense for the world that we currently inhabit.
Mm.
It's almost as if a saucer landed on the White House lawn and it was on live TV and people are just like, what the hell? No, no, that's not, this is not a movie. No, what do you mean? It just landed and now there's aliens walking down to greet the president, like just random? No, that's what crypto feels like to me.
It's like Mars
Like the
attacks. They're
spaceship,
like, ah, ah,
like the
ah, ah,
spaceship.
ah.
Yeah, yeah. Mars attacks, Jack Nicholson comes down. Yeah, like,
1001110. Yeah.
like that's what it feels like to me. Because I
Yeah.
mean, we talked about it before where we we're seeing the extremes of where people are at in our society right now. You're on the far left or the far right, and the people in the middle, both sides hate equally. Like being neutral is very dangerous today. They want you to pick a side, They
Yes.
want to know where do you land? You
Hmm.
know? Well, I'm an American. What kind of American?
Right.
Like, whoa, scary. That's scary, man.
Divide and conquer, folks.
Yeah,
Divide and
yeah.
conquer.
And it's like, dude, there's so many
Oldest
people in the
trick in the
middle.
book.
Right. It's like there's so many people in the middle now, but they're all like closeted neutral. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Where it's like, well, I do kind of agree with the conservatives on the on one end, the fiscal impact of what's going on, right? But also, uh, there are situations here where the government does seem to kind of be expanding a little too much for my liking. They're kind of all up in my business, and I
Yes.
don't really agree with that either,
Yes.
you know. But
Hmm.
either side would be like, well, no, you either agree with us or them, and you need to hurry up and decide because we're rounding everybody up. Everyone's lining up
Yeah.
now for this old school classic 1800s, everyone lining up to shoot at each other, a line of muskets, basically. This is the old style warfare.
Hmm.
Everyone's lining up. And
Cody and I made a pact, everybody, that we wouldn't watch the new Civil War movie
right,
because we're just like we're healers. We're like
yeah,
manifester guys. Like we don't want to put that. We don't want that out there.
yeah,
You
no,
know what like dumb that is to people like Cody and I. Like me lining up on the other side of the field from Cody because we're divided by some idea.
yeah,
Are you kidding me?
yeah. Some old timer,
No,
yeah, some old
no.
timer said one thing and another old timer said I disagree. And now the young guys are in the middle being like, well, I work for the other guy, so I guess I gotta kill you.
Yeah.
And I don't blame you if you try to kill me. It's just the nature of the game, right?
Who went to who's the majority of people that went to war in our country, Cody? Children.
Yeah,
People who weren't even of drinking age yet.
yeah, right.
That's the majority.
They couldn't even vote,
Couldn't even
you know?
vote for the
Yeah,
president that sent him over
for
there.
the people that sent them off to war. Right, right. And so seeing all these polarizations in society and with our culture currently, it's like, yeah, crypto is so outside of that. It
Yeah.
does not come from it. It's almost like it was introduced to us to let us know, like, hey, you guys are so focused on the smallest things, the little details, but there is something that can bridge everything together. All these petty disagreements that we have now are meaningless in comparison to what is now in front of us. The opportunity that's in front of us now that presents itself at a very specific time in uh, our history, because we're living in history right now. We're seeing how this technology is developing, how the adoption of it all is now expanding on a scale that a lot of people cannot comprehend. They don't
Yes.
they don't see it in their everyday lives, so they're like, well, I mean, who knows? Crypto, not sure what that is, right?
Yeah.
CBDCs, stable coins, Bitcoin, XRP, whatever. It's all it's all a foreign language to me.
Hmm.
Like that's what people see. And they won't understand it, I don't think. I really believe that where we're going, it's going to get to a point where it's so seamless in everyday people's lives,
Yeah.
they won't even know it's happening. The way the money transacts, the micro payments, the way people earn money,
Yeah.
nobody's going to care about how. At the end of the day,
Right.
they're going to do their job and they're
Yeah.
going to want to see that bank account, you know, get bumped up when they get their paycheck. They're like, okay, my paycheck just cleared. Okay, it's in the checking account. Sweet. Let's go to the bar. I'm buying.
Yeah.
A lot of people are just gonna that's it. That's it, really. It's like
My dad says that all the time.
yeah.
He because I'm the engine guy. I'm how does
Hmm.
the engine work? The
Yeah,
how.
yeah.
And he's like, people are not going to care about that. Like, I somewhat disagree, because there's still people like you're talking about where they don't even want to sit down and understand what it is.
Yeah.
And so if you can't boil it down, like what blockchain is and what it could mean for people, I heard you say it earlier. I think this is it. Um, it you were talking about like when it's about incentivizing people, and when people are the inline beneficiary, no third party, this is paying my bills. I no longer care how it works. It's just widespread and easy, and it's working for me. What is more powerful than that?
Yeah.
Than incentivizing people? It's why we all go to work. It's why we do what we do. It's why we, plan out our vacations. A lot of it just revolves around money and trade. So here's the hypothetical.
Mm.
Um, can blockchain heal money and trade globally? It, it's it's such a yes and no in my brain, bro, because like then you think about CBDCs and cash, and those things aren't going
Yeah.
away. They're
Yeah.
never going away. Like, we're gonna keep using those systems because they work. It's just like we're not going to get rid of gold.
Right.
We're not going to throw all the gold into the ocean. Like,
Right.
we're going to keep that around and use it. Um, but is it fundamentally, like all the research that you've done, would you say that blockchain technology could thrust us into that next quantum jump for people?
I think it can. I think it's more than just potential now. Like the ability to take us to that next level is already there. It's already presented itself in so many iterations, so many different coins, right?
Yeah.
It's all just a matter of, I think it's a matter of faith in people's faith in what money is.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people can't conceptualize, and this is kind of like one of those weird things where it's like a lot of our money is already digital.
Yes.
Not not so much of our cash that is in circulation is in the physical form. A lot of it is just digital. So it's just numbers on a screen.
Mm-hmm.
But it's on a scale that people can't comprehend. So when somebody says there's $100 billion of cash missing from the treasury, they're like, that's a lot of cash. That's a lot of paper. But what if that was just a number that got transacted from one account to another? Or it was deleted. Zero, delete, the billion is gone. People
Mm-hmm.
can't comprehend that.
Yeah.
But a billion dollars in cash are like, wow, that's a big pallet. That's a pallet of paper, basically, that they can see in their minds, right?
Yeah.
And so the faith of what money will be in the future, I don't think people will fully understand when it fully transitions into cashless and seamless payments and almost near instant transaction, processing times. Um, so it really just depends on how it's wheeled out, how it's presented to the world, like, and more specifically, who is the one presenting it? Who is the one that's creating the narrative of how this new system is going to affect our everyday lives? If it's people like you and me, then we give people hope and reason to believe in it for their benefit.
Yeah.
But if it's a government entity with infinite money printing ability, and they can roll out whatever narrative they want, and they can print out the pamphlets for the senior citizens to pick up at the local library or when they register to vote. Here's a little pamphlet about the new CBDC that's getting rolled out. The what? It's all in the pamphlet. It's just a little breakdown of the new money system that the U.S. government is implementing pretty soon. Oh, okay. Throws it in the back seat, goes on about their day. That's really what it is. And then you start seeing it in the news. Then you'll start seeing it in media. You'll start seeing it in the movies and the TV shows, and it won't just be more like a random Bitcoin reference that people like us will be like, oh shit, they reference Bitcoin in a TV show.
Yeah.
Badass. It'll just be
They
like,
got Matt Damon for a commercial. Yeah, it's like, did you have that feeling like I did, where it was like, man, when the presidents start talking about this, it's going to be really cool. And then
yeah,
like the presidents start talking about it, and like they're on divided sides and stuff. You're like, oh
oh
gee,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like, oh boy,
Yeah, when I start to see
it's going to be a
the
transition.
candidates, when I start seeing Trump tweeting things about Bitcoin and being anti-CBDC, it's like, I know for a fact, sir, you don't know what CBDC stands for. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. Someone gave you a brief rundown of what it means, and you're just like, oh, that probably doesn't. No, I think we can go against that if that's what the Dems are wanting.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they're wanting it, then I'm against it, and that's a good platform.
And he's embracing it and making sweet love to it on the media side now,
Yes, yes,
and it sings that to me. It's they're like, you gotta lean into this, you gotta lean into it. And
yeah. I think
I'm
it all
glad
depends.
somebody is, right. I'm very glad he's leaning
Yeah,
into it, but
yeah,
it creates opposition on the other side with them. That's the problem with the lizards. It's like
right,
like
right,
equal and opposite reactions.
right, right. If they
And
see someone on that opposite side, they're automatically like, well, I'm already entrenched over here, and now they've got something else that they want to sling at me. Well, that just entrenches me even further to go against them. Gives me
yeah,
more reason to be against them instead of meeting in the middle.
and we have this unbelievable technology at our fingertips now that is, like you said, seamless and cashless. And it's like, is that transition for us to get to that place that you're talking about, which I totally agree, we are going to get there. um is that transition going to be as seamless? I think my answer is no.
I don't think so either. I don't think so either. I'll
They're not
give you
going
a
to
good
make it that
example.
easy on us, bro. They're
Yeah,
not.
I'll give you a good example. So my mother-in-law hires out a landscaper to come out, I think every 2 weeks
Mm-hmm.
to mow the lawns and look after the plants and all that, and make sure the sprinkler system is running good and all that.
Yeah.
She initially paid him in cash, and then they built up a rapport to the point where it's like, okay, I'll just write you a check and then you can come pick it up whenever. So
Mm-hmm.
that's their system, right? But it's all US dollars that are transacting. We transition into a new system where it's all digital currencies. And let's just assume that there wasn't a check being written out. It was like, hey, here's $80 for the month, or however much they agree to, you know what I mean? And it's all
Yeah.
under the table and it's not trackable. So the landscaper himself, he's like, well, I mean, I'm getting paid under the table technically. If I get a little cash tip on top of it, I don't have to tell anybody about it. You know, that
Right.
goes away. That goes away with a new system like what we're talking about. It's all on it's all on the blockchain, you know?
Really
And
good point.
it's gonna hurt the little guy more than anyone else.
Yep.
Anyone who's starting up a small business, who's kind of depending on being paid under the table to where they don't have to report all that income, to where if somebody wants to give a little cash tip on the side, they don't have to report it. They can just keep it and just do what they will with it. It's all gone away.
Yeah.
The difference though is like one side says, well, they shouldn't be doing that anyways. That's a criminal activity. That puts them on par with a terrorist because they're hiding their money.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, well, I mean, that's cash. You can move the money around.
Yeah.
It's
They're
there are people
building your society.
right,
They're building your infrastructure and your
right, yeah,
ground
and
level.
yeah, and it's like that's why one side wants to say like we don't want people to have crypto. We don't want them to be uh stewards of their own wealth and finances. We want it locked away. We want it unable for them to use and utilize and move around because what if there's a scenario in which a group of people don't like how the government acts and they want to do their own thing? How do they fund their cause? You know what I mean? If it's with cash, it's a lot easier to move that money around. If it's with, stuff that's
Yeah.
tracked on the blockchain, well, now you can cut that off. Now you can, now you can shut wallets down. Now you can close down exchanges. You can do whatever to limit the ability for any resistance to any government overreach or tyranny. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
on the one hand, they can tout that they're against it, but they know the technology is very powerful. It has the
Yes.
ability to do a great deal of good, but also a great deal of evil and bad in the world to restrict the freedom of the individual. And I'm I'm all about the sovereignty of the individual. Like what we're experiencing now with this bull run that we're rolling into right now. This is a big opportunity for the little guy. For anyone that has a small amount of money to invest, who's even thinking about investing, this is their opportunity. There's
Yeah.
been no greater opportunity than now to get involved because it might not present itself again.
I agree.
The system might be so that the little guy will not be able to participate or benefit from it.
Yep.
Like we've seen so many new avenues of generating income with crypto, and anyone on the outside looking in that's like, man, I wish there was a way for me to build up more money than what I could do with my 9 to 5. And then they start to see these things, are like, this is incredible. This is life changing. This is something that no one was ever going to show me. The government wasn't going to show me these opportunities. They
Yeah.
want me stuck in my 9 to 5. They want me paying taxes to their broken system.
They badmouthed it forever.
Right. And now there's these new opportunities for people to build that wealth, to break away from that system.
Actually own
Yeah,
parts of the system.
ownership,
Yep.
sovereignty.
Yes.
That's a key thing for people going forward into this very very fertile but also very unstable territory that we find ourselves in. Like there's a gold rush coming,
Yeah.
but man, it's uncharted. There's dangers all around. People just
Like I asked you, that the technology itself is a quantum leap from what people know now.
yeah.
I love how you articulated all that, because for 4 years since I've really understood all this, that's been my biggest fear, is what you're discussing right now. It's if the people don't have enough of it, and all these governments and corporations have the majority of it,
Mhm.
does that continue to strengthen the governments and all those other institutions in whatever direction they want to go in. Does it expand that, potentially, like compound their power.
Yeah.
And I realized, just like from our fear discussion earlier, it's like I can't sit around and stew on that in my
Yeah.
fear of it. I've let it piss me off before doing shows like live
Yeah.
before. You know what I mean? And it's like what you're saying, and my dad, I'll just start talking to him and I'll forget about all of it because it is our opportunity. And the cat's already out of the bag. This genie's already out of the lamp, folks. Like we can't put it back. There's no going back now. It's going so fast and it's being adopted so quickly. Like men get fire. Men have
Yeah.
fire now.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to go that fast, especially with a gold rush coming.
Yeah.
To where it's like you better get cozy and you better get comfortable with quantum leaps here in the future. We're seeing it now with AI. How many jobs is blockchain and AI going to eliminate off the face of the earth? A lot. A lot. I mean, what I am watching, like what lawyers can do with it and what tax people can do with it and what uh, you know businesses can do with it. I'm reading books about what businesses can do with it. you
Yeah.
know if they this is where I started the whole journey, Cody, was I'm reading this book, Business of Blockchain,
Mm-hmm.
and they so beautifully articulated kind of the big five, right? You've got encryption and decentralization, immutability, tokenization, and uh forget the four, always forget the fifth, right?
Mm.
Because there's so many things that this technology is, that it's why, like, when people back in the day were reading white papers, they're like, this is genius, this is brilliant for humanity. And so instead of sitting around in fear of I go back to that person who was reading that book, and it was like, if these the whole point of the book was like, if corporations actually embraced, they leaned into some of the stuff, right? They leaned into immutability and tokenization and encryption, but they're still leaving out the decentralization part because they want
Yeah.
control, and they want controlling
Yeah.
interest, ownership, and all that. If companies like that in the future are willing to let that go and actually incentivize and build a community out of the people that fund them and support them and use their products, I think we're cooking with gasoline on all of that, because it really all boils down to people. It's what does everybody want, and then that shifts every trend in whatever direction. And you know these we've been talking about, like, how there's going to be this rush for, like, let's just take Bitcoin. There's going to be this rush for its musical chairs. The craziest part maybe about crypto is that these things are finite. Not all of them, but the majority are. There's a set amount created, and with Bitcoin, more is getting consumed and bought up each day than is being mined.
Yeah.
So supply and demand, scarcity, the snowball starts rolling down the hill, and it's everybody's grabbing at it. How will these companies and businesses and all of us people allow ourselves to expand within it to use it to our mutual advantage. Instead of being afraid, I need to go back to the books and do my homework and help us and inspire us to get excited again, like I was when I read that book and the light bulb just went off of how can we use it. It's already here, it's already out of the lamp. How can we use it? And to me, it's not enough to just own it. It's just not enough, because one day somebody's going to come to you with a price that's just too darn good, and you and Harley's kids are going to be set for life. You know, that day I think will come. And if we're using it, and we're using it for the purposes in which it's created, and we're using it as a community, and we're helping incentivize each other with it, I think the use of it, and not just the ownership, is both sides of the coin. Just like for adoption, it's like, until all these restaurants and all these stores have the hardware for us to be able to use our phone and be like, okay, here's some XRP for this cheeseburger right now.
Right.
We're not using it. We're in hodl phase. We're in this ownership phase.
Yeah.
And we're not going to beat the government in hodling it and doing it like we were talking about with planned or unplanned. There's a big part of this that is planned. And how, like, if we all as people said tomorrow, again, a hypothetical, but we're like, hey, you know what? What if we all just decided to stop using government currencies and we all just started using crypto with each other? Bingo. Like, we could all do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, we could trade and use that. Boom. But it's doesn't seem like it's going to happen like that. We're not going to abandon cash. We're not going to abandon gold. We're not going to abandon all of the old ways. We're going to have to, all of us, like, at our own pace and our own time, integrate, with this unbelievable quantum leap that's coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
yeah.
I just want to help us. I want to help you and I and everybody on our channels, like, be confident about it and try to do it seamlessly and have solutions, and be very open to sharing. There's no bad questions on our chats, everybody. There's a lot of stuff that we don't know about, but the comments always inspire me to look and to try to figure it out, and to try to expand my mind into a place where it's like, okay, everybody, this is how we could use it.
Right.
I'm done being afraid, bro. It's coming, and I think people like us should have it. If used properly, this could be an unbelievable system. But like you said too, it is going to change things in a big way for a lot of different people and jobs. And people adapt. I know that about us. We open this whole video, the first half of it is how do we encourage ourselves to change?
Yeah.
When the world gets tough, the tough get going. Tough times make strong people. And this, I don't think it's necessarily going to be tough times, but it's going to be crazy.
Right.
This is going to be crazy what happens.
Yeah. I mean, you said a lot. You said it all, man. You said it all right there. Like
Right. No, you led me into it, brother.
I appreciate it
That's how
because
I feel. That's how I feel about it.
no,
Everybody, honestly.
absolutely, absolutely agree, and I so much resonate with everything you're talking about. I I know that we are on a path to create an environment for those around us, for our loved ones, our tribes, to
Mhm.
thrive and have true happiness in their lives, you know what I mean? And not have to struggle anymore with the things that we struggled with, growing up. Like
Mhm.
I don't I don't ever want my family to know what it means to have to sleep in their car because they don't have a place to live. Or um I'll go a step further, and I don't ever want them to know what it's like to have to dumpster dive for food. Like that's rough. Like
Mhm. That's rough,
that's
bro.
that's
That's
a rough
rough.
one, bro. That's a rough one. And
Woo!
yeah. And so no, I know what I need to do to make sure that that never happens to them. Right.
Yeah.
The other side of me is somewhat of a like a prepper, like a not a doomsday prepper, but some like a survivalist type that
Hmm.
is that is has an analytical mind to think of, home defense and knowing how to take care of oneself if say our societal programs all of a sudden go away or they're drastically reduced. You know what I mean? Like how to be self-sufficient in those kind of times, those situations, right? And so when
Yeah.
I think about cryptocurrency and digital assets, part of me does have that prepper sort of mentality. Like again,
Yeah.
I'm 100% of the mind that you can dictate how your life goes out. You can definitely shift and change your environment. It all depends on what you're prepared to do it though, right?
Hmm.
And you can get to that place. And I know that there are going to be people who would rather die than put in the work. They'd rather die than talk to someone about their traumatic relationships or their bullshit drama. You know what I mean? Like they don't want to put in the work. It's just a lot easier to just go home and put on the Netflix and eat a bucket of ice cream before bed and then rinse and repeat, right? And I
Yeah.
there's nothing I could say to that individual that would change their mind, because I know people in my own life. I'm not very close with them, but there are people in my life that I've definitely called them out on some of the things that they've struggled with.
Yeah.
And I presented questions to them that really would present an opportunity for them to actually seek healing and seek that resolution to their struggles, right? And when presented with those opportunities, time and time again, they have chosen to do nothing, to
Mhm.
not pursue something that they self-admittedly are afraid to do
Yeah.
for one reason or another. And so that's their life, that's their journey that they're on. I'm pretty sure I heard somebody say that before, like that's their journey, not mine. I
Well,
that made
man,
me,
I relate. I
I don't know
relate.
who said that.
I relate so much to what you're saying right now.
Yeah, like I don't know who coined that phrase, like that's their journey, not mine, but I 100% resonated with it. I was like, yeah, that's how I feel a lot of times with some of the people that I come across. It's like if you know that you can do something about your situation, but you choose to do nothing about it,
Hmm.
I mean, who can you blame then except yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like at this point, it's
I've
not a
spent a
matter.
lot of I've spent a lot of my time, a lot of time in my life doing that. A
Yeah,
lot. There's a
like
part of me that is still that.
yeah, yeah.
And
So
that's like just saying it out loud. That is unacceptable, sir. You know,
yeah,
that is
right.
not it, you know,
Yeah,
and it's why I love our conversations, you know, it's inspirational
yeah,
to be like, okay, did you really give it the max today? Right. You know, like you got so energized from talking to Cody. It's like, are you gonna go out and use that? Are you
yeah,
gonna do it? Are you gonna
yeah,
get it done? And I love, like, we gotta, you know, we gotta do more of it together. I feel like, because it's like every time we do, um, you know, the next 3 or 4 days looks a lot different. You know,
yeah,
it's not all just sitting down watching Netflix, right?
yeah,
But it's like it's different in that creative way, and that, okay, I'm willing to sit down and try, you know,
yeah,
more often. You know, I'm
yeah,
more excited to try. And you know, there's time to relax and there's time to get it done. And yeah, really, thanks for the push. Cause just you saying that, it's like there's been a little too much laziness. And I've let it get me to a point in the past where I was so broke I didn't have money to eat either.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I did that with alcohol. I did that with my habits. I've done it in a multitude of different ways. Being irresponsible with money,
right.
and I'm so excited to change and be that other person and be a part of this community that all they do is inspire me
Yeah,
to keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep going forward. Keep be you, you know, and being yourself, everybody. It's like, use your gifts.
yes,
We need your gifts. Um, it's the good stuff. Be honest about it. Be honest about everything
yeah,
with the people you are around. And some of them, like me, some of them are just not going to like you.
yeah,
Um, but others are going to embrace you completely
yeah,
and support you and love you unconditionally. And I'm thankful to have that kind of heart, but you got to double down on it. If you got that kind of heart, that kind of gift, it's like, Brent, you gotta give it 100%. Whatever it
yeah,
is that you're doing, you gotta go for it.
yeah,
And you and Jess also helped me figure out that, like, what I need to be more of what I need to be doing is having conversations like this, because it's naturally who I am and what I want to give. And I feel, you know, the universe letting it flow.
yeah,
And it's natural. And that's where I can do the most good. Um, and like I love being in the crypto space, and I love that we've done the channel that the way that we've done it, right? It's like we've really, my dad has just picked up the football and just started scoring touchdowns. And I'm like,
yes,
dude, yes. Like, if we did anything right in our lives, we made this, and I can sit back and I can watch my dad just shine.
yeah,
You know, and it's like, and how much people get from his breaking things down of like this is so important. That like I've realized that I like, it's like I ask more questions and I listen to him more, and you kind of learn when to kind of shut up, you know, when it's like, hey, like, my dad's about to go on this epic rant, Cody's about to go on this epic rant, like, I gotta let my boys cook,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I gotta inspire them. And that's who I'm supposed to be. in the space, for everyone, not just my boys here who I'm filming with, but
Yeah.
all of you who are writing to us and watching this, and that's what I have to give. That's the best that I have to give, and I'm so excited to give it away freely, and I'm so excited to do more of it with people like Cody.
Yeah,
Winning.
dude. I mean,
We're winning, bro.
yeah. I mean, I've told you from the jump, man. Like, it's like when I first discovered the Staple Crew channel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just saw Allan. I mean,
Yeah.
the first few weeks or months, I think, of watching your videos,
Uh-huh.
I didn't even, I wasn't able to catch a live stream. So I would only see like the midweek and end week Allan videos, right? And then once I started seeing you, I was like, well, there's a whole nother aspect of this channel that's like totally like ready to roll, man.
Yeah.
And then once we started talking, I was like, dude, you can do whatever you want with this channel. Like, I mean, Allan, like, taking nothing away from what he provides, because obviously he provides so much to this
Mm-hmm.
community and to anyone who's willing to listen.
Yeah.
It's a wealth of knowledge. You know what I mean? It's like, I want to put his videos, your channel, in front of as many eyeballs as possible
Mm-hmm.
to get them to understand not only what's coming, but to feel the way I felt about crypto when I first discovered your channel. I felt emboldened by it. I felt like what I was doing was right. That was the one thing. It took the fear of investing in crypto away, because when you and him started speaking on the technology, the individual assets, I felt calm.
Mm-hmm.
I felt at peace about what I was doing with my investments, and initially that's what I needed, because now no one can tell me different, because now I know for myself. I took the time, I put in the work to know these investments for myself, to be confident in my plan. But for anyone who's new to it, I think they do need that confidence of, again, seeing someone else doing it and seeing someone else really being able to understand it for themselves, right? So when you guys speak on it, when you break it down, when Allan breaks it down, it gives people that assuredness that I, the individual, can learn these things for myself. I'm not behind. I can catch up. I have the entire internet at my disposal. It will not take that long for me to pick this stuff up. And at the very least, now I know what's around the corner. And maybe I can prepare myself in a way to where I could benefit from it,
Exactly.
And all it took was that willingness to listen and to see a different perspective than whatever MSNBC or CNN or Fox News is putting out there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's kind of going back to what we were talking about with people like maybe not accepting these changes. It all depends on how, or I should say, where they place their faith in. Do you put your faith in yourself as an individual to make things happen towards your dreams and goals, or would you rather just give that responsibility up to an entity like the United States government to take care of you and your family, to provide everything you need, if as long as you give up whatever sovereignty and freedom you have left in order to gain that? That's ultimately what it's gonna boil down to. And
Yeah.
I don't judge those people for deciding one way or the other. I just
Mm-hmm.
know that what we've talked about goes back to just showing people that it can be done. It is possible to do these things for yourself, to gain the knowledge, to gain that sovereignty. It is possible. It just requires the individual to put in the work, you know? And again, some people would rather die than put in the work.
Yeah, they
Rather
would.
just,
They
they're
would.
just like, I can't do it. I'd rather just get shot in the head and be done with it. You know, it's like, okay, that's your choice. No judgment, whatever. You know, some people are just not prepared to go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You take the blue pill and you go back to whatever the hell you want to believe, right? But you take the red pill, and it's time to find out how far down the rabbit hole goes. And
Yeah.
I'm going down that rabbit hole because I'm
Yeah.
there all the way to whatever end, to whatever end.
Yeah.
I'm prepared for it because I know that the energy that's within me, that's within us, that's within a lot of these conscious beings in our space, we know that this is only the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many more possibilities out there, and this energy goes on forever. So why the hell not?
Yeah, we're looking into the abyss and we're unafraid.
Yeah.
And how are you supposed to be ahead of the curve on anything if you don't take risk, if you don't take chance, if you don't go for it, if you don't fail and get back up? We all fail. We all make mistakes. Like we all I a big reason like my dad ended up doing the solos on our channel is because I lost my ass in crypto, essentially, you know, in the last run, through not just, you know, the price up and down, but like mistakes made.
Yeah.
And I had to go back to work. Like, you know, and my job at the time was an absolute grinder. And so it's like, but it all, like, I see it now and it's like it happened for a reason. And we're in it right now and we're still going. And it's like I'm so encouraged by the community that how open-minded everybody is to go for it and to take risks and to be confident. And I like, it's so fun to talk to you because like I've seen that in you since the very first time we talked. Like our first conversation was 3 hours long.
Yeah.
And it was like fun and we were laughing and we're excited and we're talking about all this opportunity that we have in crypto and in life. And we are not going to stop talking about that, folks. Like, you know, it's the reason people make channels. You know, some people don't want to be on camera and don't want to deal with it, don't, you know, necessarily want to be that vulnerable and open. We do. Like we really do. And you know, we were talking about my channel, like, thank you so much for what you said, Cody. Like, I'm so thankful now that like it is a crypto show because of like I feel like my dad's gift is to be able to, you know, boil it down into a stew that everybody is like, wow, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's tasty. I feel encouraged. I feel a little inspired. I feel welcomed into this space. Like, that was always the intent, you know, was to build the community. And you know, the fact that it made you feel that way is like mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished. I mean, if we never made another video, like the community of people and the people who reach out to us right now is like overwhelming. Just the like, I've never believed in people more, ever. I don't care what society is doing and what is going on and how crazy it all is. I've never believed in people more than I do today. And I'm not ever going to stop either. Believing in all of you. There'll be challenges. But what I know about all of us is we're solution people.
Yeah.
People are creators. We figure it out. The things that we're passionate about, we try to master those things. We like me and Cody and his wife are like passionate about healing ourselves and others. We were joking around in our chat this morning that we're like sorcerers and like wizards, and it's like we're not afraid to go out onto that limb, on that edge and that abyss, to try to find those gifts and put them in our forager bag and climb back up, and like share it with the village. Like that kind of stuff excites the hell out of me. Like that's what I want my life to be. And I'm gonna keep trying. I'm gonna turn that Netflix off, and I'm gonna try a little bit harder. Try a little bit harder for all of you.
Hey man, like there's always a time where you need to kind of decompress and download, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, hey, I find myself, sometimes scrolling YouTube a little bit, and most of it is non-crypto related. Some of it is like stupid shit. Like I sent you a random video not too long ago. It was like these kids playing miniature golf, but like in a more high stakes fashion, where there was there was reputation on the line, a little bit of cash on the side to earn, and these kids were playing for keeps, man. And that it was entertaining. I was like, I don't watch golf, but if it's miniature golf and these kids are like passionate about it, like I'm in, know.
Oh yeah.
And I found myself just digging into their channel, just consuming the content. You know what I mean? I was like, man, I was supposed to be watching this one XRP video that I had saved like 2 days ago that I was supposed to be watching so I could catch up and be good with it. And I have yet to do it, but you know what? It's okay. It's all right. No judgment for myself. I'm not gonna beat myself up about it. You do what you can sometimes. That's really what it amounts to. Just do what you can. Even if it's like 20-30 minutes of study on a project, or just learning about Bitcoin, like that's more than 99% of the world is doing right now. We're on our way to 9 billion people on this existence plane. And shortly after that, we'll be on our way to 10 billion people. So yeah, you've got time. You've got time. Have a little sense of urgency, but definitely don't assume that the train has left the station and you've missed the boat on this quantum shift and what we're going to be.
You're still early. You're still early right now.
Like even with this,
I agree with you. And I agree with you. I don't think there's a better time than right now.
Yeah.
We keep bringing up the point on the channel that it's less risky than ever because of all the funding and expanding on the blockchains and the bridges that are being created and all the infrastructure and the adoption that's starting to happen. It's less risky than it used to be. It's evolving. It's had 15 years of evolution under its belt now, and it's a teenager still. And we've got to, I guess we have to believe in it. If we're going to invest in it and we're going to talk about it on the internet, we owe it to this teenager that's just going to quantum leap here and become an adult and really go kick ass in the world, you know, how do we help foster that? How do we help other people understand its value? And I like, man, it was another kind of peeve of mine, you know, about crypto, bros. A friend of mine was just asking me at my job about XRP. We're in the parking lot,
Oh,
and he brought up price, man. He brought up price, and I got it down to this now. People talk to me about, well, when's the price gonna go up? You know, wind moon. You know, where the snow monkeys like, we're limbo.
yeah,
Do you understand the value of what you own?
right.
That's it.
Yeah,
If you did, you wouldn't be standing here talking to me about the price of it. I get it. I'm in the same financial position you are. We worked at the same job together. You know,
yeah,
like we're in the same shoes, dude. Like
yeah,
I need you to go back and hit the books and understand what it is that you have. And I think that's true about anything. It was, you know, it's true about gold. You know, if you own gold, it's not just about understanding the gold market and the price of what it's going and how manipulated it all is. I won't get
yeah,
into
yeah,
but it's the history of gold and what has given it actual tangible value in people's minds, like why people believe in it, and how they've used it and how they could use it in a certain situation in the future. You
yeah,
know, um, when you understand that about blockchain technology, I think you're on the right path. I think you're at a good starting line. You know, the actual value of it to people and how we will use it. And then yeah, it's like you don't want to be the, especially on here, you know, we can't give financial advice, right? But it's like I would rather you have it than the government,
yeah,
honestly. Like
and
I would like, especially now. But again, don't run out and do what I'm telling you to do. Do do what your plan is and do what's in your heart. And when you feel called to it, with anything, however you invest your money or your time, like you do it your way, and we'll all figure it out. We're all still here. The world's still turning. We'll get there together.
right.
You
Yeah,
know,
I mean,
you don't have to give advice. You just encourage.
yeah,
And, that's what I appreciate about our friendship, dude. Is it's a one big Care Bear encouragement session. It's like therapy to me, dude. I appreciate it.
I absolutely appreciate you too, man. And so many times I've had conversations with people in my life that I've called friends, but I've
Mhm.
never gotten on a level of conversation to kind of the level where we kind of break things down, you
Yeah,
know? And it kind of
same.
put things into perspective for me, you know, just like, well, who I was in my 20s, I couldn't really have a friend like that in that in
Mhm.
that realm of a world that I made for myself, you know? It's like drinking, getting drunk all the time, partying a lot, you know, like there was no space for a friend like that, you know? I would have been able to hear what a friend like that would say, you know? So,
Like,
yeah, it's the right
yeah.
place and the right time, you know,
Mhm.
and you can put that towards anybody. It's like when people are ready for what's coming, then that'll be the right place and time for them to really take off with it, you know? If it's not now, no big deal. You know, people will come to it whenever they come to it. And if they choose not to adopt it or be a part of it, well, you know, it's going to be a part of your world whether you like it or not. You know, I mean,
Yep.
you could even if you built a spaceship and went to the you know Mars or the moon, there's going to be crypto in space also, just so people are aware. So I mean, really, I mean, you could
Yeah.
try to escape, you really can't escape the technology that's coming.
Yeah.
So embrace it, you know,
Uh,
embrace the positives of it, you know, and see it for what it is. Don't see it as a get rich quick thing. Don't see it only in terms of I can put $50 in this meme coin and it can be worth 2 million in just a short span of time. It's the wrong mentality. If that's all you're into, if that's the reason why you get into this space, then I don't have anything for you. I don't have really anything to provide, you know,
yeah.
because that's not what I resonate with.
Yeah.
And admittedly, when I first got into crypto, I got into the shit coins too, if nothing else, because I knew that people were making money off of it. And all I was thinking of was, I just need to make enough money so I can quit this piece of shit job.
Yep.
Now,
Me too.
now I see it differently to where it's like, I am going to get a job to take the money I earn for the cash that I don't have really much faith in, and I'm going to convert it into an asset in which I do believe in. And that will be my vehicle towards the goal. The cash is not my goal. Making money is not my goal. The pile of cash on the bed that I just fling myself onto, that's not my dream. That's not my paradise. My paradise that I create for myself is literally a campfire surrounded with all my friends and loved ones, and knowing that all of them are safe and happy and loved,
Mhm.
and I was a part of their lives. That's it. That's that's what my channel is about. That's money paradise 100%. If anybody wants to know, what is this? What does money paradise mean? That's what it means. It's not about getting money to create the paradise. It's about, yes, using the system of making money and creating wealth and all that, and being sovereign with your finances, sure, but ultimately it's getting to a place where we don't need it anymore. We just have people. We just have the ones that we love and care about, that we can surround ourselves with, you know what I mean? And benefit each other mutually.
Yeah.
Our energies benefit, coexisting with each other, mutual gain, mutual advantage, like all that. That's what it ultimately is about,
Yep.
you know? And crypto is just the first step for me on a very long journey that I'm so encouraged to continue going forward with, you know, with people like you, and having my wife and my kid with me, you know, and knowing people like Allan, you know, and Simon and Melissa and all these other people in the space that I can't wait to meet and talk with, you know, down the road. I have no doubt that I will. Um, it's just so encouraging.
By the way, Cody, those
Huh.
three people that you just mentioned are as deep as we are.
Yeah.
Incredible
Oh,
depth, and
yeah.
you could have this same conversation with any of them.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I
And
spoke with
they're gonna
Simon.
be, yeah, they're gonna love you, man. They're gonna love you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, like, I don't know what the requirements are to get onto some of these channels aside from just hanging out and talking with them. If that's what
Mhm.
it takes, then wherever they're at, that's where I'm going to be. Like next year's XRP convention, you know, thing. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going for the XRP. I'm going for the people. You know what I mean? Like, we already know what it's all about. We know what XRP is all about, but you get to meet all these kick-ass, awesome people who they're on a whole nother level, man. Spiritually, never mind their financial knowledge and know-how, never mind all that. Just spiritually, holistically, like, that's the
That
kind of
is
energy.
what that is what going to Vegas was.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
That's the energy I was really envious of you for being able to go to that. I was like, that is so awesome that you guys were able to go to that and be with those people and hang out with them and just experience them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I want more than
I had
anything. Is
so
just
I
continuing that.
I had so many conversations and slept so little that I lost my voice for a week.
Yeah, yeah,
It was bad.
yeah. You only have so
And,
much time with
I wouldn't
it.
have traded it. I
Yeah,
was like, this is awesome.
yeah,
It's a marathon of of running through that energy.
yeah,
And it was incredible. Um yeah. And we're talking about now we're trying to all the money that we've made on the channel so far mostly goes into funding stuff like that, like
yeah,
being able for us to be able to go and see the crew
yeah,
and for them to be able to hang out and us to be able to co-create, right?
yeah.
So we're talking about potentially going to consensus. Um, what is it? The Quantum Summit just happened. That sounds pretty cool. So we're gonna try to go and travel more. Um, and there's like a few spots that we really want to go. Um, like up where Simon lives, like out in Florida, you know, uh, it's just like we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there, and the money and the ability and for us to free up our time and to be able to go and do that is gonna happen. And I'm so excited for it. I'm so excited to I mean, this is happening no matter what. Like, be at that bonfire hanging out with you and your family is going to happen. And the fact that you all do like a monthly meetup thing like that is even cooler.
Yeah,
So count me in, man.
absolutely.
We're gonna get
Yeah,
all that done.
yeah. I want to see you, Allan, Elizabeth there. Like, yeah, you guys are awesome people, man. And I
Thanks,
so
man.
grateful to have met Allan and Elizabeth in person, finally, not that long ago.
Yeah.
Um, Still looking forward to hanging out with you in person, man. Like that's gonna be a good hangout. Like I have no doubt. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
Um, yeah, we'll sort that out. And I'm like, uh, any way we can make like Staple Crew hangouts happen, or just hangouts in general with all these awesome people,
Yeah.
um, like that's something I'm 100% down to volunteer my energy and resources to in whatever capacity I can help. You know what I mean? So
Thank you. Yeah,
that'd be
man,
good, man.
you are the crew, bro. Yeah.
That's right.
We want to encourage people to lead them. Not Allan and Brent talking about it, but like, we go to Cody's hometown, man. We want you to organize it and get your people together and build your community. Just like you were telling me to do with the spiritual people here. It's like
Yeah,
I want to go encourage the crew to do that, to put it out there. What do you believe? I mean, you hear what Allan and Brent and Cody hear and think about
oh yeah,
blockchain and crypto, but it's like what do they think?
yeah,
And that's how we grow, is listening to them. And that another benefit of going to these things is that you learn,
yeah,
and you learn the different views and vantage points that people are coming from on this thing, and they're all just a little bit different. We're not just one big echo chamber.
yeah,
There's a lot of that, but it's amazing because we get together at those things, and it's conversations like this.
yes,
How much blockchain do we really talk about? We talked about life, and
yeah,
that's why people invent things, and that's why we try to earn money, and that's why we try to buy up crypto, and hopefully we don't even have to sell it someday. We can use it to pay our bills, right? And it's like that's gonna, we're not even gonna care about how someday, everybody. It's just gonna work for you. It's just gonna go to work for you, and then we're all gonna be able to bonfire together and kick it on each other's boats.
Oh
And
yeah.
help each other thrive, and I'm really excited that we're building the kind of community of people that are just passionate about that. So
Yeah.
let's
Absolutely.
keep it going, bro. Let's keep it going, brother.
Yeah, 100%. I so grateful for you, man. Like having this talk with you and like being able to put it out into a video, like that's gonna be awesome. I can't wait.
So
I can't wait to get this edited, posted, and all that. I
I
don't.
can't wait.
And by editing, I mean like making an intro and an outro, keeping everything in the middle, and then
Yeah.
posting. Like that's what I mean editing. That's it. Keep it all raw,
Keep it
uncut.
all.
Yeah,
Keep it all.
that's what I'm talking
We'll
about.
see who makes it to the end of this.
Yeah,
Those are some true fans. Jeez.
yeah. I expect like anyone from the Staple Crew community can easily just come over here and just like just see you, but obviously you're like, oh yeah, look, that's Money Paradise. Okay, cool. And
Yeah.
then anyone who's new to part of my channel is like, oh, Staple Crew, Brent. Okay, let's see what Brent's all about. Like that was the main thing. I was like, let's give more people Brent. We get plenty of Allan. Anyone that wants to see Allan, you can see him almost 3 times a week now.
Yeah. Yeah, we get a lot of Allan.
Right. But
Where's Brent? Where's Brent?
Where's
Like,
Brent in all this?
where's
How does
Brent?
Brent feel? Yeah.
Brent Boone. I really, you've been saying that to me a lot, and I thank you for giving me the opportunity to be on your channel, and I love it, man. I'm a huge fan, and I just want you to keep going. Okay,
Appreciate it.
be fearless, keep going, and I will support you all the way.
Thank you, man. Well, all right, man. I think we'll put a stop to this awesome
Put a
epicness. Yeah, we'll put a stopper in that and bottle it and send it out to the universe.
Yeah,
All right,
love
man.
you, everybody.
Appreciate you, brother. Love you, man.
Love you too. Peace.
All right. Peace.